Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode of the football betting series here on YouTube Premier League edition. With the exception of a rather drab Manchester derby, we have had a really good start to the month of April. Our monthly record stands at 6 wins, 1 loss and 1 push for a monthly profit of £64.60. When we add that to the overall record, we're standing at 157 wins, 63 defeats with 23 pushes and a total series profit of £877.58. I've got 3 picks in today's episode, so if you think I'm talking some sense, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. Without further ado, let's get into it. Our first pick in today's episode sees 9th place Brighton playing host to 19th place Leicester City. And Brighton, they were bested in their last match against Crystal Palace. The Eagles got off to a flying start with Jean-Philippe Mateta scoring just 3 minutes into the match. Danny Welbeck then levelled the scores for Brighton around half an hour into the game, but the decisive moment in the match came from Daniel Munoz 10 minutes into the second period to secure a 2-1 win for the Eagles. Taking a look at the numbers, the scoreline is somewhat deceptive though. Brighton did win out on every major win predictor statistic, so the best conclusion I can draw from this game is that the Seagulls were wasteful in the chances that they produced, whereas the Eagles were much more clinical and made the best of limited chances in the game. In terms of form, it's now no win in 3 for Brighton, and there are some question marks about their ability to achieve European football this season. They host a Leicester side who were battered by Newcastle in their last game by 3-0. The man of the match was Jacob Murphy, as his first half brace got them off to the best possible start, with Harvey Barnes adding a third goal within 35 minutes. That quick first half barrage killed off the game and Newcastle managed the proceedings from there on out for a 3-0 win to the Toon. In terms of form, that was Leicester's 8th straight loss in a row, and there's no question that they are destined for the Championship this season. When we take a look at the head-to-head records, the last clash between these sides took place in December. Brighton were leading by 2-0 thanks to contributions from Tariq Lamptey and Yankuba Minta, but it was Leicester that mounted a late comeback with contributions from Bobby Reid and one Jamie Vardy to tie up the match for a 2-2 final score. Longer term, that result means that we've seen back-to-back 2-2 draws between these two sides, with Brighton being unbeaten in the past 5 Premier League encounters. My prediction for today's game is that both sides are on a torrid run of form currently, so I would really struggle to back either outright, although I am leaning slightly towards Brighton. I do like goals in this match, and here's why. Brighton have seen over 2.5 goals in each of their last 8 Premier League games and in each of their last 5 matches at the Amex. Whereas Leicester, they've seen over 2.5 goals in 3 of their last 6 Premier League games, but none of their last 3 away matches. When we take a look at the head-to-head record, each of the last 3 and 6 of the last 7 matches have seen over 2.5 goals between these sides. Therefore, I'm going to back over 2.5 goals for a full stake here in bet number 1. Our second selection sees 17th place Wolverhampton Wanderers playing host to 14th place Tottenham Hotspurs. And Wolves, they battled back from a goal down against Ipswich Town in their last match. Liam Delap made the breakthrough for the Tractor Boys, and Wolves fans would have to wait all the way until the 72nd minute for Sarabia to level up the scores, before Jørgen Strand Larsen bundled the ball into the net in the 84th minute for a vital 2-1 win for Wolves. This result opened up a 12-point gap between 17th and 18th, which has basically resigned the current bottom 3 to their fate of relegation. But more importantly for Wolves, guaranteed survival in the Premier League for another year. In terms of form, it's been a late resurgence for Wolves. They've been unbeaten in the last 4 Premier League games, and this has seen them secure safety. They host a Spurs side who bested Southampton in their last game. Brennan Johnson handed Spurs a 2-0 lead at half-time with his brace, and it would stay 2-0 for quite some while before Fernandes netted in the 90th minute to give the Saints fans a little bit of hope of a comeback. However, this hope was quickly snuffed, with Tell converting a penalty late in stoppage time for a 3-1 Spurs win. In terms of form, that victory for Spurs broke a 4-game streak without a win in the Premier League, as they slid all the way down into 14th. When we take a look at the head-to-head record, the most recent encounter between these sides ended in a draw. Wolves took an early lead through Hwang Hee-chan after just 7 minutes, but Spurs responded in kind with goals from Rodrigo Bentancur and Brennan Johnson to flip the table and put Spurs 2-1 ahead. Then, late on in the 87th minute, Jørgen Strand Larsen scored the second equaliser of the match to secure a point for Wolves right at the death. That result continued what has been a pretty good run of form for Wolves over Spurs. They are unbeaten in each of the last 4 encounters, winning 3 of these matches. My prediction for today's game is that Wolves have been doing alright of late, and Spurs are incredibly unpredictable in the league this season. So instead of taking a side, I'm looking at goals once again. Wolves have seen over 2.5 goals in 3 of their last 5 Premier League games, but in only 1 of their last 5 league matches at Molineux. Whereas Spurs, they've seen over 2.5 goals in 3 of their last 6 Premier League matches, but only in 1 of their last 4 away matches. When we take a look at the head-to-head record though, each of the last 3 encounters have seen over 2.5 goals. So whilst I do like goals in this match, based on the poor recent numbers for Wolves and Spurs, I'm going to be backing this selection for a half stake here in bet number 2. Our third and final pick in today's episode sees 10th place Bournemouth playing host to 8th place Fulham. And Bournemouth, they were held to a draw in their last match away to West Ham. The Cherries took the lead through Evanilson late on in the first half, but West Ham battled back to score twice within a 7-minute period and put themselves ahead, with contributions from Fulkrug and Bowen. Then, 10 minutes from full time, it was Evanilson that scored once again to tie up the scores 2-2, and 2-2 would be the final score. Taking a look at the numbers, we can see that Bournemouth are well worth the 2 goals according to their XG. However, West Ham managed to only produce 0.65, and this number really does indicate to Bournemouth's defensive fragility, as they have now conceded 2 goals in each of the last 5 Premier League matches. In terms of form for Bournemouth, it is no win in 6 games now, and their chances of securing European football are starting to slip. They host a Fulham side who got the better of Liverpool in their last game. It was the Reds that took the lead through McAllister as he let fly from 25 yards, with the ball soaring past Leno to open the scoring. However, Fulham only grew into the game from here. Sessegnon, Iwobi and Munoz scored in reply to give Fulham a 3-1 lead at the half. Liverpool then managed to get another goal back courtesy of Luis Diaz, but they were unable to find an equaliser, so the final score was 3-2 to Fulham. When we take a look at the form, inconsistency is the word that leaps out to me. Over the last 7 Premier League games, Fulham have won 4, but they've lost 3, and they haven't managed to streak in any of that time. When we take a look at the head-to-head record, the last match between these sides ended in a 2-2 draw. Fulham took the lead through Raul Jimenez just before half-time, with Bournemouth responding with goals from Evanilson early in the second period. Fulham would then retake the lead through Harry Wilson before Dango Otada snatched a late equaliser in the 89th minute. Longer term though, the form's been pretty mixed between these sides. Of the last 4 Premier League encounters, Fulham have won a game, Bournemouth have won 2, and there's been a draw in there as well. My prediction for today's game is that with Bournemouth's poor recent form, I was tempted with Fulham, but their inconsistency really does give me some pause for thought here. So instead, I'm backing goals. Bournemouth have seen over 2.5 goals in each of their last 5 Premier League matches, and this run does include their 2 most recent home fixtures. Whereas Fulham, they've seen over 2.5 goals in 4 of their last 5 Premier League matches, and in each of their last 4 away games. When we take a look at the head-to-head record, each of the last 5 Premier League meetings have seen over 2.5 goals between these sides. This does include the last 2 meetings at the Vitality Stadium. So with all that taken into account, I'm going to back over 2.5 goals for a full stake here in bet number 3. So there we have it, 4 picks in today's episode, all with the same outcome. Starting off on the Saturday with Brighton versus Leicester, we're taking over 2.5 goals, odds of 1.57, a £40 full stake to return 22.80. Moving on to the Sunday, Wolves versus Spurs. Again, we're taking over 2.5 goals. Odds of 1.62. A half stake of £20 to return £12 and 40 pence. Wrapping up the weekend on the Monday night, we have Bournemouth versus Fulham. We're going to back over 2.5 goals at odds of 1.81. Full stake of £40 to return £32 and 40 pence. So, across the weekend, we're going to be risking £100 to hopefully pick up as much as £67 and 60 pence. Will we do so? Well, there's only one way to find out, and that's to tune into the next episode. But if you have made it to this point in the video, please drop a like down below and subscribe to the channel for more content. Don't forget to check out the continental picks in the pinned comment down below. And as always, have yourself a lovely day.